Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your April 2018 mid-month general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Thank you for all of you who take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments and describe how the readings resonate for you. And for all your likes, shares, and subscribes. And always a big thank you to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so occupied with personal one-on-one readings. And if any of you are interested in a one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you've forgotten the information, you can get that information and my contact details by either looking at the description bar of all of my videos that I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage. Click on the little About button for more info and details. You can contact me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time for personal readings, live or recorded, is pretty fast, as I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll go from there. I can usually fit you in anywhere between a few days upwards of a couple of weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. And as a lot of you know, I do a wide variety of readings in all the main areas of life: love and romance, compatibility charting, reconciliation, possibilities, career, work, and finance, channeled messages from loved ones passed on. And I also do 6 and 12-month overviews to look at what's coming in your life for the next 6 to 12 months, depending on how far out you want to look. For quick questions to those quick answers to those quick, simple questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that's all with my contact details. So moving right along, this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius for the remainder of April 2018. I am recording these between the 11th and the 13th, so we're looking at the last couple of weeks of April for our Aquarians, our lovely water bears. If you know your rising and your moon sign, watch those videos as well. They may play out a little more predictably for you, and it can just give you additional insight and clarification, because it's general reading, so the way they resonate and the depth and intensity and timing is always going to vary a bit because there's so many of you watching, but the energy and the advice always remains the same. Okay, Aquarius. Let's see what's in store for you for the remainder of April. We begin with the 5 of Wands, followed by the 6 of Cups, the High Priestess, followed by the 8 of Wands, and from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is Justice. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to start with your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, which represents your overall focus and energy and guidance for the remainder of April 2018. We have Justice in the upright. Justice is the reap what you sow card, basically. Justice is blind, as the saying goes, which means that the outcome and results of something will depend entirely upon the choices, decisions, and actions of the people involved. Not what you want or what you hope for or what you intended, but what was actually decided, acted upon, done, etc. So reaping what you sow, basically. There's always a bit of cautionary advice when justice comes up, that in all of your dealings for the remainder of April, make sure that you operate with as much transparency and personal honor and integrity and honesty as possible, because that's going to affect the outcome of a situation. And in work, career, and finance, and anything that has to do with legal contracts, negotiations, anything like that, it represents that things will most likely be working out in your favor because justice is in the upright position. It also represents that whatever the outcome or result of a situation is, it will be karmically fair and just. Sometimes when the Justice card comes up, it also represents it sometimes comes up when people are struggling with a decision or a choice or how to react or what to do in a certain situation. And again, the advice is to go with what you know to be right. Personal honor and integrity. So that's the overall focus and energy for the next couple of weeks of April. I want to just take a minute to look at these cards again. So Aquarius, it looks like there is some conflict, perhaps within some family or with a family member, or dynamics of some kind. We have the Five of Wands clarified by the Six of Cups. So we have fire energy here, which is the element which governs the suit of wands. It's typically very dynamic, action-oriented, fluid energy. It's the energy of creation, creating, manifesting, building. It's very action-oriented, forward-moving. The Five of Wands is a card primarily of conflict or competition. It can also represent petty squabbling, gossip, or rumor mongering as well. It's not, and it often represents something, conflict, which might be an old argument or based on something small, which maybe has continued on for a while. I always get kind of the sense of circular argument with the Five of Wands, like arguing over the same thing over and over again. You can see that the men, the people in this on this card are sparring with each other. Their weapons are not real weapons, they're practice weapons. They're sparring with each other. But in conflict, there's no winning and no losing. It's just the same kind of argument going around and around and around. And it often is petty or not based on anything big. And even though people aren't out for blood, people aren't out to really harm or get each other. I'm just getting kind of a sense of petty squabbling and bickering. And what's clarifying the Five of Wands is the Six of Cups, water energy here, which is the element which governs the suit. And this is the energy of the watery energy of cups in the tarot usually manifests in the emotional area of our life. It represents emotions, feelings, and relationships as well. The Six of Cups is a card primarily associated with the past. It can be the long ago past, like childhood, parents, family, roots of origin, where you grew up, how you grew up. In relationships, it can represent, if not family, a relationship perhaps that has been there for a long time, or somebody showing up from the long ago past. So it looks like some of you are in conflict. The connection is with the past. And actually, when I first laid these cards down, I got a very vivid message about somebody out there. There's some conflict going on with a family member, and that family member, I feel like I'm getting kind of earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or somebody who has a lot of earth in perhaps their natal chart. And I feel like for some of you, this is a female figure, but like family, or like family, like a mother, an aunt, a sister, perhaps, something like that. And there's some kind of ongoing conflict or old argument. For others of you, it may be with another family member, or just conflict within the family circle at all. Some of you, sometimes the Six of Cups, sixes can represent often movement in regards to travel as well. This could represent traveling back to the past, meaning like maybe traveling to see parents, or where you grew up, roots of origin, childhood friends, etc. But there is some kind of conflict around it. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is centered around a relationship that has a lot of weight and history and time behind it, whether it's directly in your family system, or someone that you've known for a long time, female or male. And there's an issue with how to deal with it, or can we lay this thing to rest? Because I feel for a lot of you, it's an old conflict. It's one that's been there for a while, and the very fact that it's coming up would represent an opportunity to deal with it. Now, next to that, at or towards the end of April 2018, we have the High Priestess and the Eight of Wands. So the High Priestess is a very spiritual card. The High Priestess, of course, is a deeply, deeply spiritual and intuitive person. She's kind of the quiet one that sits back and watches everything, but doesn't speak very much. But she just kind of takes it all in and thinks about it. And sometimes it can represent needing to not be quite so actively involved, particularly in this drama. And this is actually sitting next to the Five of Wands. The High Priestess is deeply spiritual and intuitive too. Often when this card comes up, it's a sign to kind of connect with your sense of intuition, which some people call gut instinct. The the higher you. Intuition is our connection with the divine. It's the method by which we kind of get messages and we feel drawn or led or compelled in a certain way, even if it conflicts with our external environment or people in our environment. Sometimes, we have people giving us opinions on what they think in a situation or what we should do, but our intuition is telling us something different. So sometimes it's not always easy to follow that intuition to do what you feel is right, particularly if you know it's going to cause conflict. But when the High Priestess comes up, it's always about that. But the High Priestess too is also, this is not an aggressive energy, because the High Priestess is not that aggressive person. She kind of watches things, she takes it in, she listens, she doesn't speak much, but when she does, it's impactful, and it's based on her consideration and contemplation of everything she sees and her own intuition, her own connection to source. Now it's clarified and accompanied by the Eight of Wands, which is a card of communication. Powerful communication. In the upright position, it represents positive communication to messages, information, conversations going back and forth. And in the day and age that we live in, we're so technologically advanced, this can take a lot of different forms, email, text, phone, etc. Although I have to say, when it comes to trying to sort out emotional things or resolve conflict, it's usually best to do face-to-face, or at least verbally. So I feel like whatever this conflict is, Aquarius, I feel like there's a chance to maybe not resolve it. For some of you, it could be resolving it. I mean, this is a general reading, and the details and specifics of how it varies in your life are always going to differ from person to person. But the energy remains the same. I feel like you should not, whatever this conflict is about in regards to the past, whether it's a past issue or a past relationship or a combination of those, and it could be, maybe petty gossip and rumor mongering within family systems, which, as we know, often happens within families. People, I often hear of and deal with clients who have issues with family where there's been estrangement for years and years, but it's been based on something that started out as something small but grew into something big. And the advice and guidance here, I feel, is you need to perhaps not be aggressive in kind of jumping right into the situation or continuing this conflict, but to manifest more of the energy of this High Priestess. Take a step back, watch how things play out, connect with that sense of intuition, your connection with the divine. Despite what maybe other people are saying or what the facts of the situation are, what do you feel is the best way to deal with this, particularly in how you communicate? Trust your intuitions and your gut instincts and how you communicate with people, and be very careful and mindful and contemplative about that over the next couple of weeks, and make sure that whatever you say and do within this conflictive situation, remember the Justice card, personal honor and integrity, what you feel and know to be right for you, and your intuition is going to lead you to that, and have the courage to follow that, even if it conflicts with the situation or people around you in the situation. So I feel like it's not a bad couple of weeks, but this situation looks like is kind of present, and that's the overall focus. And the nature of what this conflict is, again, is going to vary, but the energy is to manifest the energy of the High Priestess, connect with what your intuition tells you is the right and fair and equal thing to do, even if it goes against perhaps what the facts might indicate that you should do or what other people's opinion is. And be careful about your communication, and really come from a place for the next couple of weeks of thinking about what you say before you say it, because whatever the outcome and result is going to depend on what you do, what you choose, what you say. So be very mindful and careful about that over the next couple of weeks, particularly in your communication with people in any kind of conflictive situation. So Aquarius, that pretty much wraps up your April 2018 mid-month reading. I hope that you found it helpful, or that it at least maybe validated some of what you were already thinking and feeling in this situation or relationship. Again, if you would like a more personal one-on-one reading tailored just for you, you can find that information by looking at the description bar of all of my videos or clicking on the little About button that you will find on my YouTube channel's homepage. Please feel free to contact me directly at Maggie_McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy for quick answers to quick, simple questions. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the May 2018 general readings. We're almost halfway through the year. Can you believe that? And until then, as always, Aquarius, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, wisdom, and a happy, happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back again soon. Bye-bye.